The great Hindu warrior Maharana Pratap was one of the brightest on the firmament of Hindu India's history. His exploits in defense of this country have inspired countless generations of Indian patriots. He defied the might of Akbar, who was backed by the resources of the most extensive empire of the 11th century. He preferred a life of great privations and struggled to accepting a nominal subordination to an alien ruler. Akbar spent better part of his life in trying to subdue the indomitable spirit of the Pratap. In fact, Akbar started his campaigns against Chittor as early as the 23rd of October 1567, when Pratap's father Maharana Uday Singh ruled over Amur. The Maharana, on the advice of the War Council, retired to the fastnesses of Aravallis along with his treasures, arms and best part of his army, leaving behind a garrison of 8,000 men to defend Chittor fortress. Akbar captured Chittor after the Rajput marshals committed Yaur in a traditional manner, viz. Women jumping into flames and men rallying out of the fort wearing Kesari Bana, and fought to death of last man, fighting the mighty empire. And to the everlasting ignominy of the Mels, Akbar ordered massacre of 3,000 Hindu peasants, who had taken refuge in the fortress. Maharaja Uday Singh died on the 28th of February 1572, at Kumbalner. Thereafter the mantle of resistance fell on Pratap, who ascended the throne on the 1st of March 1572. Akbar resumed his aggression against Udaipur in June 1576, after 4 years' distraction in more urgent campaigns. He sent a huge army, under the command of Maharaja Mansingh, assisted by a Saif Khan. On the 21st of June 1572, Pratap attacked the Mel's force with a posse of 3,000 horses in the narrow valley of Haldi Gadi. Maharana shattered the rear vanguard and put TP flight their left wing under Rai Karan and another division under Qazi Khan. Mansingh had hairbreadth escape from the javelin of Maharana Pratap, while the former's elephant wielding a sword into its trunk, struck at Pratap's horse, Chetak, who had put its 4 paws on the temple to facilitate javelin thrust. Chetak, who was wounded badly, fled carrying his master to safety and thereafter died. According to Badani, a total of 500 men were killed, that is both sides losing equal no of soldiers. Mals could not capture any treasure or any of Pratap's men. Pratap continued to harass and destroy Mal forces from his fastness in Aravalli Hills and recovered almost all more before his death. Maharana Pratap died on the 29th of January 1597 at the age of 58 years from a wound received from his own bow while hunting. Now let us know who was Pratap. He was born in the Sisodia branch of the Khil or Ghaila dynasty, founded by Kaduta on the disintegration of Gupta Empire, in the second half of 7th century AD. Numerous inscriptions issued by his descendants giving an unbroken genealogy have come to light. At the age, the Gelots claimed themselves to be Kshatriyas, tracing the pedigree to Lord Ram. And among the Rajputs, they came to be recognized as Rajputs par excellence. But their inscriptions up to as late as 1285 AD call them as Vipra or Brahmins. The earliest record of genealogy is at per inscription of Sheikh Kumar the 18th king after the founder King Kaduta. Dated Vaisakha 1034 Vikrama 977 AD. The inscription commemorating the erection of Temple of Namgaswami inter alia states E. Epigraphia Indica XXXIX pages 186 states that Victorious is Sri Kaduta, the Brahmin who is founder of Gila dynasty and who is the cause of joy to the family of Brahmins hailing from Anandpur. In another inscription dated 1274 AD, Baparal, the 9th king of the dynasty, is also called Vipra, that is a Brahmin. Another record of his dated 1285 tells us that Bap exchanged Brahma for Kshatriya splendor, and he is one of the most celebrated rulers of the dynasty. He is credited with restabilizing the dynasty, after it was almost supplanted by the Arabs about 738 AD. Baparal was evidently a designation, as the name does figure in a Liber inscription. He is identified with the ninth king, in the list named Komana I. In Rasik Priya, a commentary of Gayadeva's Gita Govinda, Bapa is referred to as Advija Pangava, that is the best of Brahminas, and as belonging to Vayavapagotra. The Brahmins of Mur, while uttering Sankalpa belonging to Vayavapagotra, 3 Praveras and Yachar Vedasaka. The Gotra Pravarana Bandakatampa was given Vayavapa as the name of the Gotra, whose rishis are a tree, Govashtira and Parvatitha. They were all Brahminas is also attested to by another inscription, that is another branch of Galots, discovered at Chetsu, about 40 kilometers south of Jaipur, that is just 1909, pages 173. It is stated herein that Bhartrapada, the founder of this time, was like Parshuram, endowed with both priestly and martial qualities. This highlights the fact that Parshuram was Brahmin by caste, while he performed the feats of a Kshatriya. The 14th successor of Shakti Kumar was Rana Singh alias Karna, who can be assigned to the second half of the 12th century AD. He was succeeded by Kshama Singh. A younger son of Karna, namely Rahapa, began to rule at Sisoda as a vassal of the main branch called Rayakula or Raul. His successors are known to be Sisodias. During 1303, Alauddin suddenly attacked Hidar, and then ruler Ratan Singh of the main branch treacherously escaped along with his family from the fort, and later surrendered himself to Alauddin, leaving behind Lakshaman Singh and his 8 sons to their fate. In this perilous state of the Rajputs, the nobles dethroned Ratna Singh and proclaimed Lakshman Singh as their king. Lakshman Singh and his 7 sons fought bravely defending the fort and later on died. His only one son Ajay Singh made to escape secretly by the war council, to safeguard against the extinction of the dynasty. Henceforth they were called Sisodia Galots, who ruled Mur. Sangram Singh alias Singha and his grandson Pratap Singh belonged to this branch of the royal family. The celebrated Padmini episode is believed to have occurred during the 1303 during siege of Chittor by Alauddin. But many historians reject its veracity, because Amir Khurro does not refer to it through, and later other writers do recognize this fact.